All right, let's dive into something pretty fascinating that's happening in the crypto world right now. We all have this image of the digital gold miner, but that whole game is changing and fast. They're being forced to reinvent themselves, and it's kicking off a completely new kind of gold rush. And really, it all comes down to this one question. For years, the business model was simple. But what happens when that digital gold, the block rewards, starts to dry up? Well, that's the puzzle we're going to piece together today. So to really get where this is all going, you have to remember where it all started. Just picture that classic old-timey prospector, pickaxe in hand, hunting for gold. For the longest time, that was pretty much the crypto miner in a nutshell. The business model was just beautifully simple, right? You get a bunch of powerful computers, you have them solve these incredibly complex math problems, and for doing that work, for securing the network, you get rewarded with brand new crypto. It was just a straight-up race for who could bring the most computing power to the table. But, just like any gold rush, the easy-to-find nuggets, they don't last forever. That whole economic model that the entire mining industry was built on, yeah, it's now under some really serious and, let's be honest, totally inevitable pressure. So what's causing this big squeeze? Well, it's basically three things. First, the more miners that jump in, the harder the puzzles get. That's what we call increasing network difficulty. Second, and this one is the real kicker, is an event called the halving. And finally, as those main rewards shrink, miners have to rely more and more on transaction fees. Let's really zero in on that middle one, the halving. The halving is, well, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a feature that's literally programmed into the code of cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. And what it does is it automatically cuts the reward from mining a new block in half. It's designed to control the supply of new coins, but if you're a miner, it's basically a sudden, massive pay cut. And the impact is just stark. One day you're earning, let's say, 6 coins for a block. The very next day, for the exact same amount of work, the same electricity, you're earning 3. It's literally like your boss walking in and telling you your salary is being cut in half, overnight, and it was planned that way from the start. So this is the new reality. That simple, straightforward gold rush, it's over. And the choice for every single mining operation out there has become incredibly clear. You either adapt or you disappear. There's no middle ground. Okay, but this is where the story gets really interesting, because they aren't just giving up. Instead, they're having this huge realization. They don't have to be the ones digging for gold anymore. They already own all the pickaxes and shovels, their incredible computing infrastructure, and they can start selling them to people in the next big gold rush. And this, right here, this really sums up the whole transformation. The entire focus is shifting. It's moving away from this single-minded obsession with block rewards and toward building a diverse portfolio of revenue streams, all built on the raw power of their data centers. So what are these new businesses? Well, they happen to be some of the hottest sectors in all of tech right now. We're talking about hosting services for AI and high-performance computing, becoming the backbone for decentralized storage networks like Filecoin, and just renting out general compute power to a whole new world of customers. The biggest pivot by far, though, is into AI. See, training these huge AI models takes an absolutely insane amount of electricity and very specific infrastructure, which is exactly what crypto miners have spent the last decade perfecting. So now they're renting out that capacity to AI startups and even big companies, tapping into a market that's just exploding. Now, adapting isn't just about finding brand new customers. For all the miners who are still focused on, actually mining, the whole game has changed. It's not about brute force anymore. It's about surgical precision. It's all about efficiency. There's this new mantra that you hear everywhere in the mining world: hash rate per watt. It's no longer just about who owns the most machines. The winner is the one who can squeeze the most computing power out of every single watt of energy. Every drop of electricity counts. And this obsession with efficiency has led to some really clever strategies, like something called demand response. Okay, check this out. When the local power grid gets stressed, like on a hot day, it can actually ask the miner to shut down for a bit. In return, the utility company pays the miner for helping to keep the grid stable. So they're literally getting paid to not use energy. It's a brilliant way to turn your biggest cost into another source of revenue. And of course, if the math for mining one particular coin just doesn't add up anymore, well, there's always another pretty straightforward option. Just mine something else. The world of crypto is a lot bigger than just Bitcoin. See, miners are incredibly agile. They can point their computing power wherever it's most profitable, sometimes changing day by day. There's a whole universe of other proof-of-work coins out there. Some, like Bitcoin, need that super specialized ASIC hardware, but many others are designed to be mined with regular old graphics cards or GPUs. This gives miners a ton of flexibility to constantly hunt for the most profitable thing to mine at any given moment. So you put all of these pieces together, the pivot to AI, the obsession with efficiency, the agility to mine different coins, and a totally new picture of the crypto miner starts to form. That simple prospector, they're gone. And they've been replaced by something way more sophisticated and way more powerful. This quote really just hits the nail on the head. We're witnessing a fundamental identity shift. The miner is no longer just a passive recipient of block rewards. They're becoming a diversified, high-tech data center operator, a crucial piece of the puzzle for the entire AI and decentralized compute economy. And that, right there, is the key takeaway. This is why this whole thing matters so much. This massive global infrastructure that was built for one very specific purpose, securing crypto networks, is now turning out to be the perfect foundation to power the next huge wave of tech innovation. Which leaves us with this one last kind of wild question to think about. As these miners keep branching out, finding more and more money to be made outside of just block rewards, could we actually be heading toward a future where the most successful crypto mining companies aren't really focused on crypto at all? Now, that's an interesting thought.